ancestors felt it. Look at history. How about we find ways to have conversations that cause a pause, to see things differently? This will cause us to quit blaming everybody else for our problems and see where the person in the mirror might truly have missed it. We can only meet people fully where we have met ourselves. Remember that next time you say you want a real relationship that requires a mask to come off and put it on the table and no longer bring your representative, but come to the table vulnerable and willing to change. And if you see disrespect at the table, what you do? You get up. You don't stay to that table if it's disrespectful. You can remain vulnerable and get up from that table and say, no, thank you. I'd rather not have this meal. We have many adults who were never taught how to feel safe, so they seek safety and validation on the outside of themselves because of a plethora of challenges that occurred in childhood processes. You know what happened, but you put on your representative to cover it, but it's still showing. There was something that my grandma used to say. She said, I'm not going to use the cuss words because she would use cuss words. Okay. She would say, your slip is showing and everybody can see your its. Okay, basically saying, what you trying to cover, you are not covering. Everybody can see it. But you are trying to fool yourself, and the only person you are fooling is you. Everybody else can see it. So I ask you, what emotion from your childhood pushed you in a corner and made you vow to not never be? I hate them. I hate them. They abandoned me. She left me. She did. Your parents did the best they could. Most of the time, they was children raising children. They didn't know. And even when they became adults, they still didn't know how to get out. You know how they didn't know how to get out? Because they didn't have the bandwidth to say, okay, let me figure this out. They were just stuck in whatever they was taught. And most of us from Gen X, we just built different. Because we was built before the computer scene came on, and we were used to going outside and playing and coming up with games and using our imagination. So we know how to use our imagination and use the computers at the same time. So we know how to balance both of them. You see what I'm saying? So what vows are you making? Let me tell you something. Until you get rid of them vows, until you denounce every vow. I denounce every vow I said as a child, and I don't even remember God. Because that stuff brings up shadows. And those shadows, you get to face them before you can go any further. And it's not pretty. See, those vows are playing out on the big stage. A white man can't learn nothing from a black man. That came all the way from the 15th century, and you keep repeating it. And as long as you keep repeating it, you are keeping yourself in a pigeonhole when most of the FBAs on this planet have made everything that you have. And y'all keep saying, go back where you came from. Well, this is where we came from. How about you go back to where you came from? Because y'all came from Europe. Because if Columbus would have never came, you would have never been over here. Right. Because you settled in my home state, North Carolina. Over there by Cape Hatteras. Matter of fact, I grew up in that area. While we get to protest, okay, and speak our minds. Protest, yes, that's your right. Speak your mind. Are we helping that little girl and that little boy on the inside hill that was told that lie? Because you can learn something. In the 80s, we learned this. You can learn anything. You can learn anything from anybody, even a dummy. Remember that, them car accidents? You can learn, put your seatbelt on. That's your true shadow. I'm being commissioned to aid in the process of sharing how I overcame everything meant to keep me from my true identity. I had to believe in myself and God. See, God is on the inside of me. But before I could find God, child, I had to be like, why is that triggering you? Why is that hurting you? Why do you feel that way? See, we're taught that God is on the outside of us and the great by. That's a lie. But God is on the inside of us waiting to be tagged into our battles. 2 Corinthians 10 and Ephesians 6 says we're fighting, saying the same thing. We're fighting principalities, rulers of the darkness, and spiritual wickedness in high places. Don't ever forget, we are spirit beings first. We are spirit beings first. We are spirit beings first. We live in a body. We are inhabiting in a body in this 3D realm because it's dense, and if you don't have a body, you cannot be here. So you are not just this body, you are so much more. But because you have been in darkness for so long that you think that this is all there is, honey, there is a parallel realm right beside us. And honey, I step into that realm so much throughout the day and see stuff. And I try to explain it sometime, and God said, don't try to explain it. If they haven't had the experience, they're not going to get it. And I said, you're right. This is when all that negative thinking that has gone on for so long that is a norm. Racism, every ism. Because racism is a mental health problem. Because that's your problem. It's not mine. You using that. But once you take racism, you no longer have anything to make you feel big. Because once we take racism, that is what you use to make yourself feel big. And once we take it, what do you have? Nothing. Because most of you don't have an education. I'm not trying to be ugly or tease. I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm just stating the facts. Since we just stating facts and truth. I'm just stating. Even though the Moors came here and showed you how to take care of yourself, some of y'all still are operating on some of your European ancestry. And we smell it sometimes when you come around. Your skin should not be smelling like that. But hey, you don't use a towel or a sponge. You just use a soap. That is putting dirt on top of skin. When you use something else, it allows those dead skin cells to come off your body. That's why we use those items. This is what every ascended master had to fight against. The tradition is making the word of no effect. The mindsets of us who complain but don't want to do the work or don't know how to do the work, and it causes a dip in morale because most don't know how to get out because it's ancestral and generational. And so you just keep going in this spiral. Well, my mama did it, my daddy do it. There's another way. So it requires you to get uncomfortable to get past the plateau of complacency or complicitness. No, you got to pick a side now. That's where we are now. Excuse me, confirmation bird. We are at a point. Things got to change, or you staying in the darkness. This is how we've always done it. This is how we always done it. That's a cop out. When are we going to respect each other? Yes, we know that the FBAs was here first. We got history from Smithsonian. We got it from the House. We got it from everywhere. We got it from the Library of Congress. We got so much documentation that has been stamped. We got so many things that have been stamped by the CIA and the FBI about what they did to the black community and why they did it. In the 70s and the 80s came in there with drugs on purpose to exterminate us. But we come from a resourceful people. Man, we also know that everyone's life is important. What are you willing to bring to life? Remember, if it hurts people, you're dealing with God. You're not dealing with people no more. Because God said you can build anything you want as long as it's not hurting yourself or other people. What do you really believe? It's time that you operate in it now. You can change the world with one thing you do that lights up the world and be your own superstar in your own life. Okay. Fight for the dream while hurting none. We've learned a lot in the last few weeks. Do what's right for you, because don't nobody live your life but you. You the only one to know your life. Don't listen to people talking to you from the outside. Be sovereign, but not controlled. Think for yourself. Critical thinking. If you protect those that can't protect themselves, do so. Bring your dream to life no matter what you see in front of you. Imaginate that sucker in here. May the force be with you as you, and I made up a word because imaginate is not a word, but we're going to do it. May the force be with you as you go forth in power, and the power of God be with you, whoever you call God, in your heart as you move. There are some freebies and a link to the podcast with the Women's Leveling Up that was done in May. Then magazines that I was covered in September, October, December, and January. Look in the description below to see a few things that'll light your life up and leave everything else behind. If you don't like it, leave it behind. You ain't got to receive it. I can't wait to talk to you soon. Remember, I placed the new link to my own personal bookstore. My books incorporate the essence of God. If you want to feel the presence of God, Read In the Garden with the Father, Understanding True Intimacy. You want to know something about some true intimacy? This is true intimacy. That one-on-one with God, because if you get your one-on-one right with God, let me tell you what happens. A one-on-one with people is easy once you get it with God. Because God will be like, that's not for you, let it go. And that's good when God say let it go, because that means you're not wasting your energy no more. Page 93, seek me. I have so much to tell you. You know our little secret place. There's always a secret place with God. You know the secret place. I'll meet you there. I'm waiting for our time together. I love you so much and I enjoy our time together. God, I thank you because we had a lot of time together. Today I wrote so much in my journal. It's just for me and God, okay? Let me tell you, in my other two books, Befriending the Shadow, Unshakable Peace, Unstoppable Change, both of those are shadow workbooks. Why? Because I was looking at all the shadow workbooks and they didn't have anything for the inner child. Yes, they say they were about the inner child, but I didn't see anything that I could draw, play along, and do stuff like that. God said, well, make it. I said, well, say less. So you have a word of knowledge that comes straight from the throne room, and then you get a question that allows you to have fun, and then some of them you may have to go find some items in the house, which is fun to see if you have them. And if you don't, it's okay. It's just a game, okay? Don't take it personally. I'm competitive too. All right. So, and then you have a shadow question. It's not so nice. It's going to cause you to look in the mirror of yourself. Man in the mirror, Michael Jackson. It's going to cause you to look in the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror and ask yourself some tough questions, the things that you've been running from. Okay. Then you have and then you have a color page. God asked me to keep it between the age of 5 and 10 because most childhood wounding happens between the age of 5 and 10. It can happen after 10, but most of it happens then. By the age of 7, it is solidified in your system. By the age of 10, if nobody came and assist you, it is really in there. By the age of 21 and 25, it is now your responsibility to walk yourself out of that trauma or pattern. Okay? Because now you are considered an adult and you are acting like one. Because no one can tell you anything. All right? But we still love you. And then you have 4 pages, 22 chapters each book, sketching, drawing, doodling, write on your dreams, write on your visions, whatever you want to do, bring it to life. Honey, God is so good. Because the closer you get to God, you start having those experiences like Stranger Things or X-Files or Doctor Who, when things start happening and it's so synchronistic that you like, that is not, yeah, I'm not going to blow that off. And it'll cause you to write stuff in your journal, what happened today. Because I always write, oh, this happened today, this happened today, this happened today. Check it out. You see what happened today? Oh, this happened today. And I just be all over the place. I'm like, it is just, because God just don't do stuff. He show you stuff for a purpose.